Pregnancy is a war. Your body was the battlefield. Voiceover only. The most dangerous negotiation of your life is one you don't remember. You were there for every second of it. You won it, and it nearly harmed the one person keeping you alive. For 9 months inside the body of the person who loved you most, you and she were locked in a quiet war. We're taught that pregnancy is the ultimate act of harmony. 2 bodies, 1 purpose, mother and child perfectly in tune. But evolution doesn't build harmony, it builds compromise. And where compromise breaks down, it builds conflict. In 1974, a biologist named Robert Trivers pointed out something uncomfortable. A mother and her child are not one team. They share half their genes. They do not share all of their interests. A mother's body is built to spread its investment across every child she will ever have, and to survive to have them. The fetus is built to take as much as it can get right now. Most of the time, those 2 agendas line up, but where they pull apart, that gap is the battlefield. Start with the placenta. It feels like the mother's organ. It isn't. The placenta grows from the fertilized egg. Genetically, it is the baby. The baby's first weapon. It burrows into the wall of the uterus like a controlled invasion. Its cells push deep into her tissue until they reach her spiral arteries, the vessels that feed the womb. And then they do something startling. They strip away the muscle that lets the mother tighten those arteries. She loses the ability to turn the blood supply down. The tap is forced open, and it stays open on the fetus's terms, not hers. The fetus runs on one thing above all, the sugar in the mother's blood. So the placenta releases hormones that quietly sabotage her. They make the mother's own cells resistant to insulin, the signal her body uses to pull sugar out of the blood. Her blood sugar rises, and more sugar left floating in her blood means more sugar for the baby. The mother's body counters. It floods her system with extra insulin to drag that sugar back down. Push, counter-push. An invisible arms race measured in molecules. And when the fetus pushes harder than the mother can answer, the sugar stays high. We have a name for that. We call it gestational diabetes. It isn't simply a malfunction of her body. It's the war spilling into the open. There's a second front. More pressure in the mother's blood means more blood driven through the placenta. So the fetus has an interest in raising her blood pressure, and the placenta can send signals that do exactly that. Usually it stays within safe limits, a negotiation, not a catastrophe. But sometimes the placenta implants poorly, and it senses that it's starving. When that happens, it can flood the mother's bloodstream with factors that spike her blood pressure and damage her vessels. The condition is called preeclampsia, and it remains one of the leading dangers to mothers on Earth. A fetus escalating to survive. A mother's body pushed to the edge to keep it alive. Here's the part that flips the whole story. The mother is not a victim. She holds the other half of the board. Her body silently screens embryos. A large share of pregnancies end in the first weeks because her biology judges the embryo not worth the enormous investment ahead. She caps her own hormones. She sets the terms of implantation. For every move the fetus makes, she has a counter-move. And this isn't cruelty, on either side. It's arithmetic. A gene in the fetus that says, "take more," gets copied, as long as the fetus survives. A gene in the mother that says, "not too much. I have a lifetime of children to feed, and I have to live through this," gets copied too. 2 winning strategies aimed in opposite directions inside one body. And the father? His genes ride inside the fetus, but they have no stake in the mother's future children. So the father's genes tend to push the fetus to demand more, while the mother's genes pull the brakes. A tug of war was written into your DNA before you had a face. Birth is the truce. The moment you were delivered, the siege lifted. Her blood pressure fell, her blood sugar settled. The hormones went quiet. The war just ended, and yet it was never hatred. Both sides were fighting for the exact same impossible thing. You, alive. The conflict and the love were the same force, pulling in two directions at once. That is the secret hiding behind the word mother. Your very first fight for existence was against the one person who wanted you to exist more than anyone ever would. You don't remember it. You didn't need to. You won. This is Hardwired. If this changed how you see where you came from, that's what this channel does. One hidden piece of the biology running your body every week. Because the war left marks that never healed over. Some of those fetal cells never left her body at all. But that is another story. Subscribe.